Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today I'm going to be making a card using this adorable stamp set from c.c.designs, making a see-through shaker card. I thought this would be a really fun idea with this stamp set. So I already had gone ahead and colored the images and then cut them out with the coordinating die. That is sold separately, but these make it so much easier when working with the stamp sets. It cuts out everything. So to start off, I already have a card base that I cut with Nina White cardstock, and that's an A2 size card base, so 4¼ by 5½. And then I pre-cut another layer of cardstock just a little bit smaller, and that is going to be measuring 4 inches by 5¼ So that's going to layer on top of the card. What I have here is I'm using a metal circle die that I had previously gotten from c.c.designs. This may or may not still be available, but I'm taking one of those sizes, and this is going to be my window. So I'm placing that with some post-it note tape to the front of the card, and I want to cut out a window through both layers of this card because I want it to be see-through, so it'll show the inside of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my Big Shot. I do run it through a couple times to make sure that this die cuts all the way through, since it is going through 2 layers. It's also another reason I like to use the post-it tape, is because I'm running it through a couple times. It's putting a lot of pressure on that paper. And with the post-it note tape, I haven't had it yet rip my paper. Washi tape, other things like that have. So I'm going ahead and removing that, and it did cut through both layers really nice. And then I'll remove that circle die. And I did have a little bit of trouble removing that post-it note tape, and it left a little bit of sticky residue on the card, on the edges, but I'm able to just wipe that away with my finger. So see, a little bit sticky because of all that pressure, but I didn't have any problems with it ripping anything. So this is going to be the window where you're going to look through the front of the card and then see the design on the inside. So my main focus is actually kind of on the inside. I just thought it'd be really cool with this magical type of stamp set to have some sort of sparkles all over it. So I thought a shaker window would be really cool, so that you still have all the sparkles in there, and then you can see through to the inside of the card and yet still have actually some hidden pieces in there that they'll see when they open it up. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to be taking some clear cardstock or acetate, and I'm going to apply that to both window openings. So I trim this down to fit on my card, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach that with some double-sided adhesive. And I just go around the outer edges, making sure to get all the corners, making sure that's down nice and straight. I actually should have trimmed it down just a little bit shorter on the edges, but it still worked out really good. So I get that all applied, and then I'll take that backing off the double-sided tape. I really like this adhesive because it is really strong. It has a good hold on it. And then I can lay this over my window. This is the one that's actually on the card base itself. So that way all my sequins and sparkly things stay inside. Protects the images and the background that I'm going to create in the inside of that card. So then here is the front part. And for whatever reason, I was having some trouble with it, my circle lining up. So I just trimmed the edges a little bit to get that to sit. I didn't want you to be able to see the actual edges of the other circle. So I just trimmed that piece down a little bit to make it work a little better. But this is the other clear cardstock piece, and that's going to go over my second layer, or my top layer. Excuse me. And see, I just trimmed a little bit of that clear cardstock off so it fit nice. And that, we just created our window. Now you could leave it just like this. You wouldn't even need to add it as a shaker. This would be really pretty to do it like this too, something unique. But I just thought taking it that step further and adding some shaker pieces would be fun. And now I need to add my foam. So I have a room for my shaker pieces to move around in. So what I usually do is I have some foam tape and I layer it up, and then I take all the backing off, and that just makes it easier to move that around the entire circle. It does tend to warp my cardstock a little bit. That's where you'll be seeing me bending the cardstock here and there just to kind of straighten and flatten that piece out. And then I just added some foam pieces to the rest of that front so it stabilizes it. And now I have some goodies. So I just kind of grabbed a bunch of random things from my stash that I have. These are some little butterflies that I had gotten from Pink and Maine. I have some stars, some nice sparkly stars from Pretty Pink Posh, and then also some chunky glitter from Lawn Fawn. I really like the chunky glitter. It just kind of really added the sparkle that I was going for. So I add that all to the middle. I kind of spread that out just a little bit so it doesn't stick up when I go to add my window piece. And I'll take the anti-static powder tool and add that around the edges of my foam, just to kind of help it prevent a little bit from it all sticking to the edges. And there is that gorgeous magical window. And here's the carriage I'll be putting in the inside. So I thought that just was really pretty. Gives it that magical feeling. And I couldn't leave this just white in the inside. I just had to do a little something to the inside, which you'll see me doing here shortly. And this is the little princess I thought I'd add to the front. I kind of wanted her inside, but her hair stuck up too much. And I just wanted you to be able to see the carriage. The rest, I kind of wanted it to be a surprise when you open it. So that's why she's going to be going on the front. So for the inside of the card, what I decided to do was take a Bristol smooth cardstock. And I cut that down to the 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm adding some Distress Oxide to this. The Bristol Smooth cardstock really helps these inks move nice and get a great blend on them. I have Mermaid Lagoon, which is one of the new Oxides. I couldn't wait to play with these colors. I believe that was Wilted Violet. And then I'll also be adding Blueprint Sketch. And this combination is just gorgeous. I think this just really adds a nice magical background to it. So I'm just going to go through, add those colors. I mean, I did speed this video up, but I really did this pretty fast actually in real life. It's really quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just to get a little bit of a blend so that they're not sticking out. Those harsh lines don't stick out. So I just go back over them a couple times, and then I'll spritz with water and dab that up with a paper towel, and it'll give it these water splotches, I guess you could say, and dab that up. And then it just leaves, it's just pretty. I think this is so pretty how this does it. Adds to my magical theme I had going on. And like I said, these colors are just beautiful together. And it takes very little effort. Isn't that pretty? I love the Mermaid Lagoon. It's just gorgeous. So now I'm just going to add this piece to the inside of my card. I had started doing a little bit of ink blending on the main layer, and it just wasn't working the way I wanted. So that's why I did this extra piece. And then I'll go ahead and start adding my images to the inside. So I'm just using a regular tape runner. I'm actually trying out an alt new tape runner. Seems to have a really good hold. Now for the carriage, I'm kind of lining that up with my finger where that's going to sit, and then closing the card to catch that adhesive so it's exactly in my window. I think those sparkles are just so gorgeous around the carriage. And then just pressing that down firmly with my finger. And it's still, the sparkle still sticks a little on the outside of the edge, but that's okay. I think that just adds to the effect of it all. And then I'll come in and I have my little Cinderella here. You can color up really in any colors. I just kind of was on a Cinderella kick. We have these cute little mice that'll add to it. And like I said, I had to keep them kind of down because I didn't want that to show through my window. I wanted them to be a surprise when you open the card. So there's more to the card than just meets the eye. So I'm just adding the adhesive on here. Really quick and simple to finish off this card. I needed a sentiment for the front. So that's why I'm putting her on that side. And then I'll go ahead and take one of the sentiments that also comes on this Magical Princess stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that onto some white cardstock, and I'll cut it out with another new product that's going to be available at c.c.designs, and that is a banner die set. And I know I am going to use this set a lot. This just adds such a nice touch when it comes to the sentiments. And I decided to just do white cardstock, white on white. I really like that look when it comes to the sentiments. And these sentiments just fit perfectly inside, and there are various sizes to it. So that really helps in any project that you're working on. So I'm using VersaFine ink. This is a really nice, solid black ink. And then cutting that out with the die cut machine. I like to tape these down too with the Post-it note tape when I run them through my die cut machine so it stays lined up where I want it. And then I can add that to the front of my card, and I'll kind of tuck it underneath there. Now the finished card, you are going to see that I added a sentiment to the inside too. I just needed a little bit of something in there. So I did take another sentiment off of the Magical Princess stamp set and add that in between the mice. And this is going to end up finishing off my card. I want to thank you so much for stopping by my channel today and following through my process, how I created this magical card. The stamp set will be available on February 8th, 2018 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This is part of the c.c. Designs February 2018 release. I'll have all my links listed down below of the products that I used, the Copic markers that I used to color in. So all of those will be listed down below the video. I would sure appreciate a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Please subscribe to my channel and have yourself a wonderful day.